So the question would be, why did we decide to enter agriculture? And also, it enables early detection of abnormality and early response. So it's not as simple as that, but rather, we are focusing on how we have integrated manufacturing into agriculture. Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. So at first, we would want to welcome you here at the farm. So this is the NPH Smart Agritech Farm. So I am Miki Hontiveros, the farm training supervisor, as well as the farm administrator. And today with me is Sir Jonathan. So this is our farm supervisor. So in case you have any questions about the operations later, so you can directly ask him. So for the purpose of this presentation, before we do our tour or our Genba, so let me quickly explain to you who Denso is and why did we venture into agriculture. So knowing that we have manufacturing background, so why did we decide to shift into agriculture or add this as another venture? Hi. So first, let me just quickly share with you our company profile. So Denso Philippines Corporation is actually one of the subsidiaries of Denso Corporation. This is a global company catering to automotive parts manufacturing. So our headquarters is located in Korea, Japan, and currently we have around 164,572 employees worldwide and 194 subsidiaries in 35 countries. Hi. And here are some of our customers. So globally renowned auto manufacturers. So some of these are very popular or well-known here in the Philippines, such as Toyota, Honda, Mitsubishi, Isuzu, and the likes. And also, pinpointing what we have here in the Philippines. So our company, Denso Philippines Corporation, was established in March 1995. And we have around 1,933 employees as of July 2024. And if I'm not mistaken, we have already surpassed 2,000 employees now that it's already November. Then for some of our products, so we have here our cooling system, air conditioning system, smart key, etc., etc. That's why with our current background, even we have our eyes closed, we really know the manufacturing business. So the question would be, why did we decide to enter agriculture? Now, considering that we have already an established background in manufacturing. So the main reason for that is actually considering the global and Philippine situation that we have right now, focusing on two factors. First is the population increase, and the second would be the threat to food security. Because as we all know, not just in the Philippines, globally, our population is really increasing. And with that kind of trend, there is really an imminent threat to food security. Meaning there will come a time that our food supply can no longer feed our population. So as Denso Philippines, we look further on what are the following reasons which causes this threat to food security. And we found out that this too is actually a factor. So first is because we have low productivity index for agriculture. Meaning, our population is increasing, but we cannot keep up with the methods of farming to supply food for our people. And the second threat is because we also have an increasing importation. Philippines, as you would know, we are primarily an agricultural country. So if you are to ask the younger generation, what is the primary industry in the Philippines, it should be agriculture. But sadly, despite being an agricultural country, we can no longer supply food for our people. So we also investigated why did this happen, and we have identified two causes. First one is because we have low farm mechanization and low kaizen. So meaning our farmers stick to do what has always been done. So this is what I'm used to, this is what I know, this is the traditional method that I want to do. And so that results to being left behind in terms of technology and innovation. And we have this very little kind of no kaizen mind. There is very little room for improvement because they are used to doing what has always been done. And also, mechanization and technology is difficult and it needs high investment. Also, for the Filipino people, since our farmers cannot afford to buy such high-priced investment or mechanized equipment, they proceed not to. which causes them to have very low productivity. So for example, in case of choosing a tractor, I would rather choose a Carabao because a Carabao is cheaper than a tractor. So they have those kinds of mindset because technology needs high investment. And the other reason is because we have decline in Filipino farmer population. Actually, in the Philippines, the average age of farmers is already 53 years old. So meaning, we cannot expect the 53-year-old farmer to do as much as a 20-year-old farmer, right? So meaning, in terms of labor, they are really challenged to do the manual tasks. And because we also have this kind of perception that Philippine farming is laborious and is considered actually as a poor man's job. So actually, when we ask the farmers, do you have kids? So they answered, yes, we have kids. But do you plan on also teaching them how to farm? Do you also plan on making them a farmer? And sadly, their answer is no. Because for them, farming is difficult. I don't want my kids to do farming. So they have that kind of mindset, which resulted to low population venturing into agriculture. So given this situation, Denso Philippines will challenge to provide solutions to change this landscape of Philippine agriculture. And so our vision is to have a food-secure Philippines through sustainable and productive agriculture led by professional Filipino farmers. And we can do this by actually promoting man-machine complementation. So given our manufacturing background, what we plan to do here is to actually complement, or meaning use them side by side, technology development and also making sure that the people or the manpower will be equipped enough or be skilled enough to use the technology well. So it's not just doing the technology, but also giving the skills to the farmers. Because we believe in agriculture, not everything is automatable, or not everything can be done by machine. So what will happen to those non-automatable jobs? You have to develop the skill of your farmers to be able to do that as capable as a machine. And so so what we did was to integrate our agriculture's best practices plus Denso, or our manufacturing strengths and key success factors. So Denso Philippines in particular, we are not a farmer. So we only learned about the farming, or we only learned about agriculture by partnering with a technical consultant who can teach us how to do farming. Then combining what we know with our manufacturing strength, we then standardized our process. So that is actually, so as you can see over there on the board, that is actually an example of how we have standardized our agriculture practices utilizing our Denso manufacturing strength. So for example, standardization, FIFO system, inventory management, so the likes we have applied in agriculture. And these are our specific solutions that we offer. So as Nakamura-san said, so we are not just a farm that produces crop, but we are actually product and services centered farm. So first one, in terms of product development, so we have actually a low-cost automation with IoT. So this one is the nutrient auto-dowsing with cloud subscription. That is actually our prototype, the one that you can see over there. This is our nutrient auto-dowsing equipment. So what it does, since this is an automated machine, it reduces labor. Okay, so the farmer does not need to do anymore the repetitive jobs, such as nutrient mixing. So since the lifeline of our system is the nutrients, so the farmer has to do it 3 times a day. But with that equipment, it can be eliminated. So the farmer can do other valuable activities. So that's the main purpose of the nutrient auto-dowsing. So it reduces the repetitive manual jobs, and also it enables early detection of abnormality and early response. Meaning, you in your farm or in your farming system, you are no longer reactive. When we say reactive, your plants are already dead or is already experiencing some technical difficulties for your production. Then that's when you will act. But given that system, you can actually see when the problem will occur. So you can act fast, you can act preventively. And next is we have fast aftermarket support. Since that equipment is locally developed, meaning we can readily support you in terms of aftermarket. You no longer need to wait for overseas. You no longer have to undergo customs clearance just for parts replacement because that is locally developed, so we can immediately support you in terms of aftermarket. So that's the first one. Second is we have established Farm Education as an accredited learning site for agriculture by Department of Agriculture Agricultural Training Institute. So this one is where the skills development will come in. So aside from technology development, we also have trainings conducted here in the farm. So the farmers can know and learn how to use the technology, how to do smart farming. Because the technology will not be utilized well if your farmers do not know how to use it. So we have the trainings conducted here at the farm. So later, we'll be giving you the brochure so you can browse what are the different trainings available here in the farm. So this training is actually focused on the implementation, for example, of Toyota production system, or basically how we have integrated manufacturing into agriculture. So it's not just training about how to grow plants, how to plant lettuce. So it's not as simple as that. But rather, we are focusing on how we have integrated manufacturing into agriculture. And lastly, our solution is to establish a soilless farming showcase and demonstration farm. So later, we'll do a quick tour in our farm facility. So this third item is actually a proof that our solutions 1 and 2 work. So, because in the Philippines, we have this kind of mindset, which is to see is to believe. So, I will not believe the product or the service that you are offering if I can't see it for myself. That's why we have the showcase or demonstration farm. So, for example, in terms of technology, how would you know that it works? Because we are using it here. For the training, how can you say that it's effective? Because our farmer is a product of the training. So, that's why we have this demonstration farm. Hi. And here are just some of our activities as well. So for the training, so here are the different courses that we offer and our past training engagements. So we actually have clients from the Philippine government, Bureau of Plant Industry, wherein we proceed training on farm planning and also smart farming and farming skills foundation. And also, we had trainees from local government units of Ibaan. So they are actually sent to Korea as seasonal farmers or seasonal workers. Hi. And I think that before the last slide, so actually aside from those that I've already discussed, we have an ongoing trial for Philippine rice production utilizing hydroponics. Actually, when we asked ERI, if you're familiar with International Rice Research Institute located in Los Baños, this is actually the first trial that a private company has established because the only hydroponics production for rice is proceeded until the rice is at this small. But no company has proceeded yet until full maturity of the rice. So what you're gonna see here is actually the first. So we're actually excited for the result of that one. So just to share with you quickly, so we have proceeded this kind of trial because we want to challenge the expensive machinery in soil farming. So as you would know, rice is actually or usually proceeded utilizing soil. And the other one is because we have high usage of pesticide or insecticide when it's soil-based farming. But using hydroponics, we can actually lessen or maybe eliminate these two issues. And this is actually our prototype. So later, Sir Jonathan will be explaining the design as well as how we can proceed with that kind of system. Hi. So I guess that's all for a quick introduction. So I think it's not very short, but do you have any questions or clarifications?